question. My two colleagues have mics, so would you wait for the mic, please, because we are recording it and it will get recorded if you have the mic with you.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is V.N. Kulkarni. Just two questions to you, Madam Harshila Chandoka. One is whether the range of credit score, is it the same for all credit information companies, that is 300 to 900, number one. Number two, do CICs provide free credit report once a year? That was one of the recommendations of the Customer Service Committee.
It's on.
Yeah, so Mr. Kulkarni, to answer your first question, whether the range of the credit score is common for all CICs, yes, it is common. 300 to 900 is the standard which has been adopted across by all 4 CICs, that has been set as a standard industry practice for everyone. Second is on the annual free credit report. That at this point of time is not being offered by any of the credit information companies, including CIBIL.
Yeah, good evening. This is Manoj Iyer. Questions to Harshila Madam. Thanks for sharing all your information regarding the working of the CRISIL. But I have got a doubt. You are just working on the information, but you are not updating. It is not validated. You fail to validate the information. And you are working on pro-banking. That is my experience.
So information does get updated on a monthly basis. Well, there can be instances where records get rejected or some of the records don't get updated. If you see, if there are any instances which come to our notice, or if the consumers bring that to our notice that information has not got updated, we reach out to that particular bank to make sure information is updated.
Yeah, my experience, I had a credit card. They offered me a loan. I availed the loan. Credit card was settled. There's no default. In loan, there was a default in last 2 payments, which has been settled. By their consent, I have settled. But they have not given the no objection certificate or nothing written. And that impact was that the other credit card, they says that you have defaulted and they reduce the my credit, saying that the CRISIL report says there's a default with you. And I believe still you may be maintaining the same, on the basis of same status, though I have not approached the CRISIL. But I've got my own doubt that small investor, it is not been given proper judge.
I'm going to answer this on her behalf because I think the law does not allow them to make any changes. So if she is not able to do the change, they will have to show the settled account that you have. There is nothing that CIBIL will be able to do about it.
Well, why should reach to the CRISIL? Because I'm very clear. I got all written things.
No, so sir, you need to be able to take it up maybe with the regulator. And I don't think beyond this, Ms. Chandorkar is going to be able to answer this question.
But that is what I said. I got apprehensions that they are listen only to the bank.
Because that is the law. They have to listen only to the bank. So we have to...
So, no. Listen.
We'll take this up separately. This is something that we are trying to take up with the RBI about cases where there are, it remains in the records beyond 7 years and whatever, but I don't think it's a CIBIL issue. So we will go on to the next question if you don't mind.
So before giving any sort of your judgment that this is this, you should listen to the both parties.
No, that is not the law. The law is decided by the Reserve Bank of India, and they can't make up the law on their own. So they will not be able to do it.
Ma'am, suppose if I go for the pre-approval of home loan, then whether that gets updated as an inquiry?
So
Pre-approval.
If you've made an application for a loan, then the bank will pull a credit report. But a lot of times what happens is, especially for home loans, we go and ask 4 or 5 banks, asking them the rate of interest, asking them the terms and conditions. At that stage, no bank makes an inquiry, so no inquiry will get reported on your credit profile. But if you've made an application, pre-approval also means that they have done a sanction for you, right? You've given some documents to them, you've filled a form. In that instance, yes, it will get reported as an inquiry, but when the loan gets sanctioned to you, only then it will get reported as a loan. But an inquiry in all probabilities will happen.
One more question. In one of the cases, I have closed 2 credit cards earlier before pulling out the CIBIL score. So in one of the cases, bank has reported that closure of the credit card after I think 1.5 months later on. But in second instance, bank hasn't reported the closure of that credit card even after 5 months. So what should I do in that case from my side?
So raise a dispute on the CIBIL website saying that this particular credit card issued by this particular bank is closed, hence please get the close date updated. We will speak with the bank and they will report the close date which will show a closure of that credit card for you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. First of all, on just a humorous note, what is Vijay Mallya's CIBIL score?
Unfortunately, my work or my job in CIBIL doesn't require me to have access to information or access to the database. So unfortunately, I will not know his score, or I will not know anyone else's score as well.
Yeah, this was just a fun. But now, size of the loan, does it have any impact on the CIBIL score?
So the overall debt has an impact. So when
I have taken loan of, say, for example, 10 lakhs, and my wife has taken loan for, say, 1 CR. Both are paying regular EMIs. Then who would have a better score?
So just one instance or one example will not be enough for me to answer that question.
Just for understanding.
Yeah, so because what happens is we look at the overall debt. So if you have loans, when was the loan opened? How many other loans have been opened? How much is the total debt? All that gets considered before a score can get derived. So all factors being the same, if the sheer amount of debt is different, then the score will be different. In terms of, so if higher the loan, basically the risk profile will be higher. So that will impact the score.
The conclusion comes that higher the loan, better the EMI payments, then we'll have a higher CIBIL score, right?
No, so higher the loan, your overall debt is high, right?
Yeah.
Payment is happening on time, even if on a loan which is of a smaller amount.
Suppose if I take a loan of, say, 10 lakhs, just a hypothetical question, but 10 lakhs, EMI regularly paid, my loan tenure is, say, for 2 years, loan closed. Then I go to the bank. My CIBIL score would be very good because I have made all EMIs nicely paid. After 2 years closed, my CIBIL score fantastic. Then I go to the bank and I say I want a loan of 10 crores now. So based on my previous CIBIL score, would they sanction it?
No, so as I said, CIBIL score plays an important role, but that's not the only factor. They will look at what is your income. Do you have the capacity
that's
to
a
make
different issue, but my good EMI payments will really impact CIBIL scores. Because if somebody wants to play some scams sort of thing, then he can always do such things, no? That take a small loan, make it a prepayment, create a better CIBIL score, create a better...
But an important factor is, do you have the capacity to pay back that 10 crore loan, right? That is also critical.
That is
just
banks,
this,
that
just
is
this
a
So is
secondary-
there a purpose? I mean, is it just hypothetical? Because some people have real questions. Can we go to the next one? So, where are the mics?
Good evening, Mrs. Chandorkar. Actually, I keep on getting calls from HDFC Bank that we have pre-sanctioned personal loan or vehicle loan for you. So, and I keep on rejecting them. Means, have they accessed my credit report, CIBIL report? That's number one question. Number two, 2 years back, I had applied for a credit card with the IndusInd Bank, and it was rejected, although I had good income and salary. So, is the reason for rejection of a credit card only a CIBIL score? Because I have never taken any loan or any credit card in my life. I'm 30 years old. So what is there any reason apart from CIBIL score that a bank may reject my credit card? That's my second question.
Okay, first question, if you've not applied for a loan, then it's unlikely that your report has been accessed. It could be some other criteria. Maybe you have a salary account, and maybe because
Savings
of
account.
a savings account, yes. Because of that, they may be approaching you for a loan. Second is, whenever a loan or a credit card is getting rejected, you can ask the bank why have they rejected it, what is the rejection criteria, and they will tell you what has been the rejection criteria. So there could be several reasons why the loan or a credit card could have got rejected. So I will not be able to say for sure that what could have been the reason why IndusInd could have rejected your credit card.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, madam, for such an informative session. Can any Mr. A can go on your site and take information on somebody else, say Mr. B? Is it possible?
So I cannot access someone else's report because we do online authentication, and the online authentication is on the basis of information which is there on my credit report. Those are out of wallet questions which are asked, which typically, see, I may know someone's date of birth, I may know someone's address, but what is the last 4 digits of my credit card, or I may not know. So I will not be able to access someone else's
Somebody
credit
is
card.
doing business with somebody. For that, he want a verification ki whether his profile is good or not.
No, so then in that case, if A is doing business with B,
Yes, yes.
and A wants report, he will have to tell B, take your report and give it to me.
Okay, thank you.
Just to add to his question, I think in the US, even people who are renting out apartments are allowed to pull reports. In India, it's not allowed.
It's
as
not
yet,
allowed.
right?
As of now, it's not.
Thank you.
Behind. So you had a question, right?
In my case, the bank has made the mistakes on the report. Now the question is, it is in my wife's name. Although I went on the website and I wrote everything that on my wife behalf I am writing all these things. They say, no, you ask your wife to write. You cannot write. I become the third party in that case.
Yes.
Now the question is, my wife is not able to go on the website. What is the alternative left now?
So let me have a look at, since you specifically raised a question, I can maybe take down your request number, and then maybe we can discuss it offline to see how can we provide a resolution for your particular dispute.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Harshla ma'am. I have one question. I had one of the settlements on my credit card. Now my question is, if my spouse is applying for a home loan, will my record have some kind of hit on this score?
If your spouse is applying for a home loan and you are not a co-applicant, then your report will not get accessed. But if it is a joint loan or you are standing as a guarantor for that home loan, your report will also be accessed, and information which is there on your credit report will be seen by the bank, your score will be seen by the bank.
And one more scenario is, in case there is a scenario wherein I get a job overseas, so CIBIL will not be applicable or something, it won't be updated? In case of overseas employment?
No. So we get information only on loans and credit cards. So I don't know.
This is in India. This is in India.
Yeah, within
so if
India.
I take an overseas job, for example.
Correct. And
both of
okay,
us-
so if you've taken loans overseas, that don't get reported to us.
That will not get
And even like let's take an example. If you applied say to a bank in the US for a loan, that bank based in the US can't access information from us.
Oh.
So we are not permitted to share any information overseas, nor are we permitted to get data from overseas.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I have a question. CIBIL report generally has 2 scores. One is that CIBIL TransUnion score, and the other one is personal loan score. So what is that personal loan score? What is the range there? And then what is considered to be a kind of a good score?
Those are 2 different scoring models which are available for banks and financial institutions. The personal loan score was developed in 2008 or 2007, where that entire personal loan and the retail sector was seeing a lot of stress. So that's a score which was developed specifically for that period for evaluation of risks if customers are taking personal loans, unsecured credits. Again, it is used differently by different banks. So we work closely with banks when they want to implement, say, a personal loan scoring system in their appraisal system. So that's something that we do with banks. But the score, the CIBIL TransUnion score, which is a more generic score, is something which is widely used. That's the one which is made available to the individuals as well.
So the second one, that is personal loan score, is available to the banks only.
That's available only to the banks.
And in that, I have seen, because I saw about 3 reports where the score was identical, say 828, and with a remark that not enough available credit. Now, what does that mean?
No, I think I will not be able to answer that question. I'll have to look at the report and then what is there. So maybe we can do an offline discussion on that.
Hi. Firstly, thank you so much for organizing this session free of charge. It's very nice of Moneylife. Thank you, very grateful for that. Apologies, I'm going to break from the trend. My question is not on CIBIL, it's for Devashish sir on equities. It's rather specific. So I'm just curious, the Moneylife stock letters, are they formula based? And if they are formula based, then is there a separate analysis you do for management quality? And is it, how different is that from value investing? This is a self-rated mutual fund essentially. So how different is that from, let's say, a Parag Parikh's value mutual fund?
This is such a technical and a specific question in a general. Well, it's going to be a long answer, but I'll really keep it short because others may not be interested in it. Yeah, it is formula based, but it is substantially formula based. Formula cannot capture everything, and and on top of the formula is applied my own 30 years of knowledge, understanding, being in touch with promoters, having written so much, having met so many people. That lies on top of that. Thanks.
I have a question for CIBIL. In fact, a suggestion. I did a CIBIL report just for the, curiosity. I didn't need anything. I got it. I was surprised to see some bank showing that they're giving me a loan, sanctioned me a loan of 10 lakhs. I've never even spoken to that bank. And some other this thing. So I did report it, but I don't think I got a satisfactory resolution. It didn't matter to me. I just threw the report away. It doesn't matter to me today also. But should there not be some resolution mechanism with banks and large parties like this with individuals? Because where does the individual go? You say that CIBIL goes as per the law. So now they've said something, so that's the law. But there should be some resolution if there is a dispute. So I would suggest that you must take it up that there should be an arbitrator who can say that he's right or he's wrong. Because I've never asked for a loan and they still showed a loan. And that's the end of it.
Sure, I think we can take this up with the regulators in terms of if there is a dispute, what arbitration can be there.
Good evening, ma'am. There are 2 questions. Question 1 is for CIBIL. I wanted to find out, I had a CIBIL report removed, and there were some amounts that were lying balance very, very, very long back. Now, how do I make the repayments? Should I make it to that particular bank? 1. And secondly, after I removed my CIBIL report, every second day I get a letter, an offer from mail from one of the banks saying that your credit rating is so and so. Would you like to take a credit card with us? How does that happen? Do you have some tie-up with the credit card authority?
So to answer your first question, if there are any amounts which are outstanding, I think you'll have to approach that bank in terms of making payments or settling or whatever needs to be done. That's what you'll have to do. Second is, if you're accessing your report from CIBIL, we don't have any tie-ups with banks where they send mailers out in terms of loan offers. So if this is happening, maybe you can write to me, or I
every
can just
second day it's happening, ma'am.
So maybe I will request you to write to me and send me a copy of the email that you've received from a particular bank. We will see what is the issue.
We've completely run out of time. In fact, it's 10 minutes beyond, so we'll close the session. I just wanted to close with two things. One is that Moneylife also runs a credit helpline. So some of you who have raised interesting questions here today, if you can write to us, we can take them forward as well, including with the RBI. And it's very kind of Harshila to offer to take it up. So I think if it's taken up by both entities, we may have some results, because I think the question that you sir asked is a pretty serious one and needs to be taken forward. Somebody thanked us for having a free program. It's happened because CIBIL has supported it. So thank you to CIBIL, and thanks for being here, and thanks Harshila for a fantastic presentation. We of course have done a lot of these, and we hope to do more so that more people understand and benefit. Thank you very much.